Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. This is the fourth video of Database Management System series. In this video, we will be talking about keys. But before we take this video ahead, let us discuss what we learned in the last three videos. The first video was mostly centered around basics of database management system. What are the types of database management system that is available in the market? What is the importance of database management system? In the second video, we discussed about the difference between NoSQL databases and relational database management systems, how they differ from each other in the structure, how data is stored within them, and what is the condition in which we should opt for certain database management system. In the third video, we started with the basic concepts like normalization. But before we take normalization to a further extent, it is important to discuss about key. So without any further delay, let us proceed with understanding keys. So as you can see in my screen, this is the definition of key. Keys are the essential component in database management system that uniquely identifies record within the table. It has a purpose and it has an importance. The purpose says it facilitates efficient data retrieval and ensure data integrity. And importance says it plays a crucial role in organizing and managing data effectively. Now let me simplify this definition for you. Let us assume a case where your organization is a table, you are a content, or you are a data that I want to address, and your roll number or employee ID isn't key. Let us suppose you don't have that key assigned to you. You are directly going to be addressed by your name. Now many persons have same name in within an organization, right? In that particular scenario, addressing a particular data means calling you within that organization will be very difficult. So in certain conditions where you have lacks of data, you cannot directly address it with the data itself. You need a key, and that is the importance of key in database. It is used to uniquely identify a record within a table, and it ensures that the integrity is maintained, which means there is no duplicacy in the data, or you don't accidentally delete the particular record that you don't want to delete within the table. Okay, now the second slide comes up with importance of keys. As I was already discussing in the first slide, keys can be used for organizing the data, maintaining the integrity of the data, and for easy retrieval of the data. Easy retrieval means you can fetch your data using the key ID, which means generally if you try to fetch a record from the table, you can use employee ID, right? You can use your select query using employee ID and you can fetch. It makes a retrieval of data easy. You are having access to fetch the data you exactly want, not the entire set of records. Secondly, it is easy to organize data, which means when you want to delete or when you want to store a data, it makes sure that you don't have duplicacy in the data. That is data integrity. And by managing both two, it is helping you to organize data in a better way. Now here comes the third slide, which says what are the types of keys. So there are broadly three types of keys: primary key, foreign key, and candidate key. Let me start with candidate key. So candidate key is a set of attributes that uniquely identifies rows in a table, which means it is a such column which can uniquely identify your row in the table. It can be column or columns, which means it can be either one value or the group of values that uniquely define your row. For example, you have an employee table. Okay, let's suppose your employee table does not have employee ID. Your employee table has a contact number, an employee name, and an employee address. Okay, so if you go by employee name, it is not unique. Two-person can have same name, but when you consider employee name and his contact number together, it makes a unique combination. no employee can have a same name and same phone number, right? That is a unique combination that can give you a candidate key. Okay. So talking about the characteristics that I was just saying, each candidate key must uniquely define your record. Such keys are known as candidate keys, and we generally try to find the keys with a minimum attribute. In the case where you can have a unique key using 3 columns, 4 columns, but it is best to find a key which can have just one value which is unique, like employee ID. We don't want to go with multiple keys. So that is the characteristic. Candidate key should have the fewer possible attributes. The importance of candidate key is it provides an alternative choices of primary key, which means when you understand about primary key is one of the candidate keys. Like one table has many multiple candidate keys. For example, I was just saying your name and your phone number together can become a candidate key. Your employee ID can itself be a candidate key. Then your phone number and a address can be a candidate key. And one of these candidate key will be the primary key of the table. So that is the importance. Your candidate keys can give you an alternate choice of choosing primary keys in the database. Now, the second one is the primary key. Primary key, as I was saying, it will be a one of the candidate keys. So it should have all the characteristics that candidate key was having, which means it will be not null and it must be unique. Okay. So it must be uniquely defining your rows and it cannot have null value. The importance of primary key, we have discussed a lot about this already. Make sure that your data integrity is preserved. Now here comes the third key, which is foreign key. Foreign key is a field or a set of fields in a table that is used to define the relation of that particular table from the other table. Let's suppose you have an employee table and then you have a payment table. Okay. They are the two tables and you want to store the payment details of the same employees that you have in your employee table. You will somehow relate those tables, right? While you want to access or while you want to store the data within these two tables. That relation is formed using foreign key. So its purpose is to establish relation between tables and enforce data integrity. But by enforcing data integrity, it means let's suppose you have a relation between an employee and a payment table where employee is having employee details and payment is having the payment details of the same employee. You cannot accidentally delete any of the record because they both are related. You can also not insert duplicates because these both are related. It will database will throw you an error. Okay, so in this way it ensures that data integrity is maintained throughout the database management system. So here one of the example is given that in an order management table, the customer ID in the order table may have reference to the customer ID in the customers table. Same that I was just talking about employee and its payment tables. Similarly, customer can have a detail in a customer tables and then the same customer will have details in an order table because that customer was placing orders from the orders table. Now let me show you how practically this is done. How you decide what will be your primary key, how you declare foreign key, and how you find out candidate key from the tables. So, so these are the three tables that I'm going to create. One is student, second is courses, and the third is enrollment table. Okay. So now if you can see, I've already defined student ID as a primary key. So if you want to define a primary key, you need to first identify the candidate keys and declare one of them as a primary key. Let's suppose grade and student ID here can be a candidate key, right? It can together be a unique value. or name and student ID can be together a unique value. But since student ID is the minimum attribute that is a candidate key, I'm defining it as a primary key. If you want to define something as a primary key, you need to declare it while creating your table. So I'm creating this table. This table is created. Similarly, I'm going to create courses table. Okay, this is giving me an error. I have already have this table, it seems. I'm changing the name of this table. Okay, so this table is created. And now you see the third table. Here this enrollment table is handling details of both course table and student table. We are defining a relation between these two tables in this table, which means we need to find out who are the students who have which means we need to find out which students has been enrolled in what kind of courses. So it has a student table relationship and it has a course table relationship. We have defined foreign key as a student ID and a course ID also as a foreign key. So now one thing you should consider while declaring foreign key, the foreign key should be the primary key of the other table, which means the primary key of student table can be a foreign key of enrollment table. The primary key of course table can be a foreign key of enrollment table. Okay, now let me create this. The name already exists. Okay, let me change the name of this table also. Okay, sorry, I forgot to change the name of DB here. Yeah. Okay, now these three tables are created. Now if you want to see these tables, when you will have a look at these tables, you'll get to know how constants are defined. Let's suppose I want to see students table. Okay, now see, it says that student ID is not null, which means student ID is a primary key. Here also, when you define something as a when you define some table as a not null, when you define some column as a primary key, the attribute there will automatically that particular attribute will automatically be not null. See here, it's not null. Similarly, the enrollment will be here. If you'll see enrollment table also, it will also have description enrollment. Similarly, here also primary key is non null. Okay, and these two are your foreign keys. So this is how you define the relation between the tables. Now we'll be understanding some points that we should keep in mind while choosing the keys. So first, you must consider what field is unique. That should be the key, as a key must ensure each record is unique. Then the key should be stable and the key cannot change over the time. Like your employee ID enrollment doesn't change over the time, right? Then key should be simple. As I was saying, the candidate key can have multiple columns together to identify that particular row, but we go by simplicity. We try to find out a certain attribute which has just one value and it can uniquely define your column. I mean row, sorry. So here example is given. A primary key that is unlikely to change, such as employee ID, is in it should be an primary key of employee table. Now there are certain best practices that we need to follow while choosing the keys. The first is select candidate keys based on their uniqueness and stability. As I was saying, candidate key have just two criteria. It should be able to uniquely define your row, and second, it should be stable. It should not be changing over the time. The second, primary key rules. Primary key rules, as it is a part of candidate key, it must be unique, and we might also try to understand that it should have simplest value. And the third, foreign key. Use foreign key to establish relation between tables and enforce differential integrity. Foreign key should be able to address the relationship between the two tables, and it can be it is generally the primary key of the tables. That's all for today's video. Let me know if you want to address some concepts in detail. We'll meet in the next video. Thank you.